Morning, I guess afternoon almost. It's Tuesday and I am back. I've been sick in bed for a week, so if you're wondering why I've been a little MIA, I had laryngitis, still have a little bit of it, and morphed into a sinus infection, so that's been really fun. I did have to postpone my clinic that was supposed to be this past weekend. I literally couldn't get out of bed for the whole week. So it is going to be in 2 weeks. There are currently a couple of spots open just because a few of the already registered students couldn't make the new spot. So if you're interested in that, please let me know, as I'm sure they will go fairly quickly. I'll be announcing dates for the first two spring clinics, one small animal and one equine, in November. So keep an eye out for that. My voice may be a little bit off still because I've been coughing and blowing my nose a lot. So please bear with me. Today is World Habitat Day, and it's becoming more and more of an issue because of global warming and overpopulation, and the animals are becoming extinct and endangered at a rate that they have never been before. If you didn't see the infographic I made and posted yesterday, I'm going to read you some of the facts for that, as well as some additional information. So, since 1970, the planet has lost 60% of its vertebrate animals. The number one cause of that is habitat degradation, which is tearing down forests to build homes. This means using the forest for lumber and taking no consideration to the animals that live there. This is 50% of all the species that are threatened right now. The number two reason is overexploitation, which is taking too many of them. Most commonly, this is the aquatic creatures that we take, or animals raised for food. This is 55% of the fish threat. Now, as of, I believe these statistics were for last year, so as of 2018, 30% of the Amazon is gone, which after the big huge fire we had this year, I'm guessing it's a lot higher than 30%. 87% of wetlands on the entire planet are now gone, partially either because the extra heat from global warming has dried them up, and now they just simply don't exist. So all of the more aquatic creatures like ducks and bugs and all the animals that live in the wetlands, unfortunately, don't have a habitat right now. And 50% of the shallow water corals, this is the Great Barrier Reef and other ones like that, they're dying because the temperatures are so high that they can't get nutrients from the water, and they eventually bleach or turn white. And it's driving not only tourism down, because a lot of people go to Australia to go visit the reef, but all of the fish and creatures in that area are also becoming endangered. 80% of all terrestrial species, that means ones that live on land, live in the forest. And with the amount of forest that we're losing, our planet is unfortunately becoming a very dangerous place for them to live. Mostly because of lumber and the housing boom, a lot of these forest creatures, except for the ones far, far up north that nobody dares go to, are starting to be taken down. Even in the area that I live, there used to be fields and fields of cornfields and forests, and every time I drive into town, there's a new neighborhood because they've decided to tear one down and build more houses. Pollinators, mostly bees and other insects, are worth $235 to $577 billion in crop production, yet bees are now the most endangered species on the planet. And I don't think we realize quite how much we depend on them, because all of the crops that we eat, food crops, and the food crops that we feed the animals that are raised for food, are dependent on those bees. So even something as simple as stopping to eat honey can make a really big difference. But putting out a dish of water with a little bit of the bee food, it's type of syrup, and sugar can help revitalize them if they're getting ill. Put or plant flowers that are bee friendly, and we can, even if everybody plants one plant, we can make a really big difference. Those were most of the statistics from the infographic that I made. The last one is actually from a documentary that I watched a while ago, one of the ones that converted me to veganism. And the United Nations released information that animal agriculture contributes to global warming more than the entire transportation industry combined. So this includes cars, boats, planes, buses, trains, trucks, the big transport trucks, everything on the entire planet. The animal agriculture industry creates more and contributes greenhouse gases more, partially because of the methane from the pigs, but by tearing down all the land to use for fields for the animals and all of the factory farms and the transporting of them, unfortunately, they play a really big role. So even something as simple as going back to how it was in, the 70s or 80s and using meat as a luxury and not a daily item, something as simple as eating it on weekends or only in the evening, only for dinner, not breakfast and lunch, can really make a big difference. Because if you haven't noticed, in the grocery store, there's now big sections on meat alternatives and dairy alternatives. And if you are keeping up with it, there's now more and more and more, to the point where people are asking for it, and the majority of people that buy it are actually not even vegan. They're buying it because they understand that it's healthier for them. So, which makes me happy, I guess, because it's still driving the demand up. But I think it's really great to see the turn in people starting to make that connection. But it's even making one simple change is eating more vegetables with your meal instead of meat. Making a bigger portion of your plate plant-based instead of animal agriculture-based. But there's so many things we can do, and I know the very last day of the month is eco-friendly waste reduction month. So I have a little PDF of probably about 40 to 50 ideas of simple ways that you can reduce your global footprint and your economic footprint, ecological footprint, there we go, on the planet. So it's really simple. Keep an eye out for that. And if you are interested in joining the acupressure clinic that's in 2 weeks, please send me a message. There's only a couple of spots left, and I really hope that everybody gets in who wants to get in. There are 2 more being announced in November, so keep an eye out for that. I hope you have a fabulous rest of your day, and I will see you when I see you.